Welcome to the BumbleKast. I'm your host, Ian Flynn, the Bumble King, and joining me as always is my symbiotic other, Kyle JCRB Krause.
Eat food. I can't do a Venom voice very well.
Which is too bad, because I think they nailed the voice, but we're getting ahead of ourselves.
They really did.
We're getting ahead of ourselves. How are you, sir?
I'm doing okay. How are you doing?
Not too bad, not too bad. Got a lot of potential work on the horizon. Just need things to get approved so I can actually, do it.
Do it. Do the work, Ian. Do the work.
I want to. I just have to be given the okay.
Get the job. Do the job.
The job is had. I want to do it. I just have to be told that I can.
Oh, okay. That's fine.
Or how it needs to be changed, despite the fact that it was already pre-approved, and now they're going to revise it again.
Welcome to the fun world of the bureaucracy of business. It's delightful. It's lovely.
Nah, it could be worse. So, we're going to be talking about the latest superhero movie, Venom. As usual, we'll do a spoiler-free pass, and then we'll get into the nitty-gritty. But first, we need to reveal the latest winner of the Bumble Raffle.
That's right. Bumble Raffle is where you can email BumbleKast@yahoo.com or be a patron to win a prize.
And this episode's winner is...
Ron! Ron, you win!
Congratulations, Ron.
Ron! You winner, you. Ron is such a winner. Ron is always a winner in my book.
We'll be in touch with you, Ron, let you know what your prize is this time around, because Ron hasn't won since, before episode 50.
Yeah.
What was that, season 2?
It's been a while. I
didn't realize Ron had been with us that long.
He's been our closer for quite a while. And he's
good old Ron.
And he's a great closer, let me tell you.
All right, so Venom. The early reviews were not favorable, to say the least.
I didn't look at any of them, actually.
There were comparisons to Halle Berry's Catwoman.
Ooh.
Yeah.
No. No. I was worried. Let's just say I wasn't necessarily looking forward to this movie, and I had planned not to see it. There was just something about it where I was like, do we really need this? It's not even connected to Spider-Man. There's no reason for it to exist other than the obvious reason. It just doesn't have to be a thing, and I really don't want to do my part to keep this thing that Sony is doing going. But we had to talk about it on the show, so I went and saw it. And you know what? It wasn't that bad. It was okay. It was all right. It was entertaining. I liked it.
I mean, it wasn't good, but it wasn't that bad.
It wasn't super. It wasn't terrible. No, not in the least.
It was definitely watchable.
Yes.
I'd say if you're on the fence about it, yeah, wait to video. It's not like you have to see this one in the theater. It's definitely rental quality, but it's still maybe worth a rental.
Yeah. More than anything, it's just fun and entertaining. It's not going to blow your mind.
I think what bugs me about it the most, and we'll get into this when we get to the specifics, the spoilery part, but I feel like that with a few tweaks, it could have actually been a really good movie, a really good Venom movie.
I agree with you, yeah.
And instead, it's just kind of there.
Yeah, there really isn't a whole lot of character development, and kind of character personalities are suit the needs of the plot rather than rather than the needs of the characters. The only character with much character is Venom itself, I think.
And boy, when he's on screen doing his thing, that's when the movie really shines.
Yeah. They did a really good job with Venom himself. But
so
outside
at least they got the good part right of Venom.
Yeah, but outside of that, it's kind of, in a sense, a little bit of a letdown.
It's lazily put together.
Yeah.
I thought the CG for the most part was decent.
It looks good. It looks pretty good.
I mean, I really like the way Venom looked.
Yeah. The fact that it's another superhero movie where the hero is just facing the mirror version of itself is kind of annoying. Like, we saw that back in 2008 with Iron Man.
It really is a by the numbers superhero movie when Venom could have really been like Deadpool, a movie to turn the genre on its head a little bit.
Yeah. Was this movie rated R?
PG-13.
It is? Wow, and they dropped the F-bomb like twice.
Only once that I remember, but you can get away with it one time.
Oh, is it only once? Okay.
Only the one time. And they didn't really even need to go there. They purposefully went with the PG-13 rating because they wanted the kids to see Venom because he's popular with kids.
True. He is.
And that makes sense, but, Deadpool is like walking, talking Fortnite, and that's popular with the kids these days.
Deadpool is also popular with kids. There were a ton of kids at the Deadpool movie, and when I went to go see Deadpool,
not a kids movie.
No, it is not. It is not a kids movie. And yet I'm sitting right next to a kid at Deadpool 2. And it's like, well, this is awkward.
So, if you're a purist of Venom, I'm so sorry. This is not the movie for you, but then again, every superhero movie ever made is not for you, I guess, if you're a purist. So,
no,
I think that if you're going to make a Venom movie without Spider-Man as a central part, I think it did an okay job.
Yeah,
presenting Eddie Brock and Venom as their own thing.
I was a little annoyed by the fact that it was separated. And I'm usually not one who even is like, oh, it's gotta be accurate to the comics and blah, blah, blah. But for some reason, this was just rubbing me the wrong way. Like, no, how can you do Venom without Spider-Man? What the heck? How do you do that? That doesn't make any sense. That's not Venom.
That one doesn't bug me as much.
But, yeah.
Because aside from the obvious origin connection.
Yeah.
Every time you see Venom pop up in a Spider-Man story, it boils down to, oh, we have some bad history, but I'm going to trust you this time. And they save the day. There's not really a lot of meat there. It's like, oh, we used to fight, just like everybody else in your rogues gallery. The thing that bugged me, and I didn't expect it to bug me as much as it did, is the lack of the big white spider on his chest.
I didn't even notice that. Holy crap, you're right.
Yeah, he does not have the spider marking, and it honestly kind of bugged me.
Yeah, he doesn't look right. No, you're right. Holy crap, I did not...
Even if it was just like a simple kind of like white veiny look, something almost like a Rorschach blot.
Yeah.
Something that resembled it without being a spider symbol, I think it would have been better for me, but that just... It kept sticking out to me. It's like, that's not right. Now the teeth and the tongue and the weird spawn scraggly guys, those are all dead on. The gooey tooth monster is set. That's great. That one little detail bugs me a lot more than I thought it would.
It's interesting because they definitely went for more of the later Venom look. I know earlier Venom doesn't get quite so toothy, and the tongue. I don't think the tongue was even a thing originally, was it?
I don't think so. No,
not really. Yeah, and they kind of went with the later incarnation, which is a lot more iconic. So I can understand why they did, but. I don't know, it would have been interesting to see like early Venom and then maybe if there were need for a sequel to this movie, then they could move on and have the more monstrous look to Venom later. But
now, something that I don't know if they've been too consistent with in the comics, but it seems to be what they've been doing in the latest run. Because Venom seems to live from miniseries to miniseries. That when Brock is in control, it looks more restrained, more like a rubber mask and less of snarly, fangy goo monster.
Okay.
And then the more he loses control, the more tendrils and teeth and slobber start flying around, the more ridiculous the anatomy and the musculature, which
Right.
I like. I like the idea that the less humanity is involved, the more monstrous it becomes. And that's a neat visual aspect, to me at least.
Yeah. They kind of did that with in the movie with him by like showing his face at certain points.
Mm-hmm.
But it was definitely not quite like that. So I think that would have been a cool thing to go with too. I agree with that.
Another thing that they didn't do this movie that I hope they do if there's a sequel, and apparently it made a lot of money, so
it's doing fairly well.
I want to see Venom rendered as clothing, because there's a scene from an earlier Spider-Man book where Brock sneaks up on Peter in some abandoned place, because they always have to fight in an abandoned place. And the symbiote has made itself into this freaking spectacular biker outfit. Like high-collared leather vest and gloves and pants and stuff and boots. And it's like, that looks rad as hell. And then when he becomes Venom, it all gooifies, it wraps around his face and becomes Venom. And it's like, yes, that is freaking cool. I want to see more of that. They didn't have that in this film. It was kind of like an aggressive pasta stain that just keeps growing. But
you basically want Venom to be Bayonetta's hair.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, that would be freaking cool. But yeah, that's neat. That is a good idea. I like that. They should do that. They should also make it so Spider-Man's there. I mean, I'm just saying.
All right, so that's the long and short of it. It's not a great movie. It's not a terrible movie. I would rank it above some of the Marvel movies. Like, it's better than Thor 2, I would say.
Yeah, there's a lot of DC movies it's certainly better than.
So, if you want to see it because it looks like it's stupid fun, yeah, go. If not, wait till the rental. Yeah. That is the spoiler-free BumbleKast review.
Yes.
So now we're going to get into spoilery stuff because I have opinions. You ready for these opinions, Kyle?
I guess I have to be because I'm on this show.
Last warning if you don't want to be spoiled, folks.
Can I start off first, actually?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, because there's one thing I liked. I did like that they moved Eddie Brock all the way across the country to San Francisco, to the opposite side of the country. Like, if you're not going to have Spider-Man in this, just make it so Spider-Man really can't be in this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, technically he could be, but there's really no reason for him to be in San Francisco at this point. So just move Eddie away from everything, get him out there, get him out in the middle of elsewhere, and just do the story there. If you're going to do it, just do it elsewhere. So it's fine. I like that.
Yeah.
So, anyway, go ahead. The floor is yours.
I think the biggest thing that they could have changed that would have made the movie 100% more interesting is if they reversed Venom and Riot's progression through the film. So that it's Venom who infects the Malaysian EMT lady. And during that 6 months period where all we get is a flash of text and we assume the time has passed, have him jump from person to person as he makes his way from Malaysia to the U.S., experiencing Earth. The beauties and the wonders of the environment, the goodness of people, the badness of people. You can keep the scene where she gets attacked by random gang members or whatever those guys were supposed to be, because we have to have at least one gang killed per Marvel intro movie. And that's still part of the growing experience, so that when he infects the homeless lady who's got a good rapport with Brock, he has this feeling for the planet, and then he, through the homeless lady, knows who Brock is and actively seeks him out as the host that he wants. He has seen the best and the worst that humanity has to offer, and Brock seems like a cool guy from the perspective of his current host, and then you've got that element for him and Brock to come together. Meanwhile, you spend that 6 months, even if it's like a montage, show Brock, from his loss of a relationship with Anne to like the loss of his apartment, he can't find a job, he's just about living on the streets, and have him go to the church, which I feel like is one of the biggest parts of the Brock and Venom moment. And if you don't want to go full suicide angle, have him with a gun in his hand so you leave it open to question, is he going to shoot up the place? Is he going to shoot himself? It depends on how namby-pamby you want to be about it. And have the symbiote come to him there. And that way you've got more than just the symbiote needs to a human host to breathe on Earth. You've got a kind of personal symbiosis between the two. Brock needs support. Venom needs someone he can trust, and the two of them work together, and they come together that way. Meanwhile, have Riot in the Life Foundation vaults, going through host after host, purposefully killing them just to get the guy's attention, and then bond with him with the intention of using him to get on the space shuttle, go to the comet, bring his people to eat Earth, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
I think that would have made the whole dynamic between everybody so much more interesting. You've got Venom as a unit, the two characters working together, and then Riot being someone using the other, the bad side of the symbiosis.
Yeah, because
it could have been something.
Because Venom's face turn just comes out of kind of nowhere.
Yeah.
It really makes no sense because Eddie has not done anything or shown anything to Venom and to the audience to want to help and save humanity. It's like all of a sudden he's just like, you showed me how to be not a monster, to kill everything. And it's like, what? but Eddie's so lame and he doesn't do much. He's just kind of boring. His personality, like, I was kind of like, I was annoyed and disheartened. I don't know if it's Tom Hardy's acting or if it's directing or if it's something, but like the transition between him being in a happy relationship and going to get married to kind of being down on his luck, down in the dumps, he wasn't really acting any different between those two. And I'm not expecting like a major, massive personality shift or anything, but he doesn't really act differently to me. It was weird.
I mean, his slummy bachelor apartment is bigger than my place, and it's like, oh, you poor baby. You've got 1,000 square feet in San Francisco with no job.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was just like one of those things where I'm like, he doesn't really seem like he's not acting like, there's no moments of him being like weirdly depressed or anything. I guess there kind of is, but he seems to always just be kind of acting the same. And I was disappointed with that.
Now here's a question for you.
Yeah.
One of the reoccurring themes in the comic, which some people acknowledge and some didn't because Venom has never been written consistently, is the idea that Eddie had a brain tumor and that the symbiote was keeping it in check / kind of curing it for him. Do you think that would have been a neat addition to the film, or do you feel like it was A, unnecessary, and B, would make people think, oh, this is just Deadpool again because of the cancer angle?
Yeah, I think it's kind of unnecessary. I don't know. I don't know if we need that. I mean, It could have been interesting if they had written it well or written it decently, but I don't know. What do you think? Do you think we needed something like that?
I worry that it would, people would make the Deadpool parallel unfairly. And I also think that it would be kind of melodramatic, but if we're going for my brilliant revisionist angle and, we spend the 6 months tearing Eddie down, if it's more than just he lost his fiance and he can't find a job, but, oh, by the way, you're going to die of brain cancer and there's nothing we can do. Not only does it bring him to such a low point that he would be willing to accept a fangy goo monster.
Yeah.
But it gives him a kind of personal ticking clock so that if he and Venom are ever separated, which of course they do, that's what the movie does.
Right.
that puts Eddie in peril because not only does he not have his superpowers, which, oh no, boo-hoo, you're like the rest of us, it's, oh crap, now he is mortal again. He could potentially die. Mm-hmm. It gives more to that whole symbiosis thing, than being freaking symbiotes.
They separated Venom from Eddie, and yet it didn't really matter. I don't know if that's what you were thinking too, but for me it was like it just didn't matter.
Yeah,
because first of all, 15 minutes or less later they were back together, so it didn't really make a difference. And all right, so Eddie got his butt kicked in one scene after that, and then Anne shows back up as Lady Venom, and I was like, well, that could be an interesting angle. Did she find the other symbiote? Nope, it's just Venom.
And see, Anne was misused the entire film.
Yes, absolutely.
Start to finish. Yes. There was nothing redeeming in how... I mean, the actress did a fine job with what she was given.
Yeah.
I don't remember who she was off the top of my head. But, of course, I don't remember who anybody was off the top of my head, so that's not really a personal thing. But, not that I am fully versed on everything Venom, but from my understanding, Anne Wang was kind of a normal human being and a very straight shooter. She was an attorney. She was law-abiding. And part of her dynamic with Eddie was that she knew what a good person he could be, but he was a snaggly fang monster and that ate people, and she just could not reconcile with that. And there's a moment in... Oh, shoot, what's the name of the miniseries? Center Take All, I think?
I don't know.
Where Anne gets shot by a religious extremist calling himself the Sin Eater. A little on the nose, I don't know, picked up on it, but at some point, Eddie kidnaps her for her own safety and leaves his suit on her to help her heal, and she appears as Lady Venom to save him, eats the bad guy, and then absolutely flips out because, oh my god, she just ate somebody. That's horrible. Totally threw her whole life out of whack.
Right.
And in the movie, she just kind of shows up to wiggle her Venom butt and make out with him, and then they move on. And it's like, if you really wanted to do the fan servicey bit of Lady Venom, obscure as she is, save it for the sequel.
Yeah.
Save it for a moment where Anne has to sacrifice her own morality, her own sense of self to save Eddie. That would have been interesting, engaging.
It would have been more interesting than what happened here.
That's the thing, is that what they do good is entertaining, but there are so many missed opportunities to actually make it better.
Yeah. I think the missed opportunity here was her not just grabbing the dog and taking it with her, and then do the scene the same, have the tendrils flying out and everything going to crap for those guys trying to kill Eddie, and then have the dog show up, have a dog. Yes, we need a dog monster Venom. That's what we need. That's what it should have been.
On the mask,
and then he kiss, and then have the kiss the same too. Just have him run up and start licking Eddie's face. There we go, like a dog kiss, and then transfer it over. There we go, same thing. It's the same thing. No. Just don't have Anne as the symbiote, and we're good.
You know what? I like your idea better. I really do.
That's kind of what I was expecting. Like, she's just gonna grab the dog and go, not like, oh, I'm going to take over you because, I don't know.
Did you stay for the after credits scene?
I did. I stayed for both of them. Did you?
Both of them.
One is completely unrelated to the movie. Spoiler alert in the spoiler section, if you don't want to know. The second end credit scene is actually a short preview for the Spider-Man animated movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like a scene from that. It's just a short scene from that, so.
That's too bad. I kind of wish I'd stayed for that.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
I got the preview.
I only heard it was the one.
I got the preview for that, and I'm like, man, I really want to see that.
Oh, wow, that would have been that's going to be a cool movie.
That's going to be really good. I want to go see that one. Why aren't we seeing that one right now?
And I don't know, with Cletus Cassidy, I'm divided because of all the Venom, sub-series, Carnage really is the only standout character.
Right, yes.
The fact that they used Riot was really proof that there was nothing else to draw from. Now, not that I heard that they brought back Riot and Scream and Lasher and all of them in a miniseries called Carnage USA. And from what I've gleaned, it seems like they tried to give them a little more personality. Mm-hmm. But he didn't even have a name until they were brought back. They were just, there. They were action figures in a comic book, basically. So, and if you're going to do that, why pick the gray Venom-looking one? Why not at least grab the one with the tentacles?
Right.
For something visually different. But I digress. So, if we get a sequel and we most likely go with Carnage, that's cool and all, but get rid of that hair. I cannot take that seriously.
I just can't look at Woody Harrelson and not just see, oh, it's Woody Harrelson. I'm sorry. He does not he does not blend into a role. It's like, oh, hey, Woody Harrelson, what's up? You're wearing a real funny wig there, buddy.
He looks like Binky the Clown.
He looks silly. Oh. Yeah, he really does. I hope they improve that. They got to do something for the poor guy.
That's kind of like the theme for the sequel is I hope they improve it.
Yeah. The thing is, it's not bad enough to where I don't want to see a sequel, but I'm just hoping that they do better. There's certain things I'm just hoping they do better, but yeah, it's like we were, me and Jennifer were talking about during the credits, we were talking about well, where's the third symbiote? Because there were 4. And she's like, I only remember 3. And one of us was like, I only remember 3. I think it was her. Okay, or no. It was her. It was her. She was asking where the third one was. No, I was asking where the third one was. And then we got confused. And then I said, wait a minute, let's keep watching. Because we might be seeing something here shortly.
Now, because they brought back 4 from the comic. Riot was one. Venom was one of them. He got into Eddie, obviously.
Yeah.
One of them died. It's not very clear, but you see the dried up remains on the floor.
Yeah, after taking Skirth.
And then the 4th one, the yellow one, which I thought they were going to do a nod to Scream, the other symbiote with, got inside the bunny. Right. And if they referenced it after that, because I think there were 2 scenes of dead symbiotes, except they were both black. So,
Yeah, I don't know.
Or maybe one was dried up yellow. It was not very clear what you were looking at. When your principal alien monster is a pile of goo, and it looks like a pile of goo alive or dead, you're not really selling it.
It's hard. It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell.
Have we rented enough?
Well, I actually kind of liked the Dr. Skirth character.
Yeah.
And I was a little disappointed that they just killed her off. I thought she could have been interesting.
If we went with my scenario, what I would have loved to have seen is Skirth gets infected with Riot, and then Riot kind of uses her as a puppet to negotiate his terms. And then she can still die, but at least it gives her kind of a moment.
Sure.
I mean, she gets taken out by the big bad, at the very least, instead of off-screen. Because they couldn't afford to do the CG, I guess. But
there was also a point where there was the kids on the field trip toward the beginning of the movie.
Oh yeah.
And one of them raises her hand to ask a question, and then everyone else is like, "Oh no, don't do that." And then the main villain guy is like, "No, come here. You have the right to ask questions. You have the right to wonder and be curious about anything," but then never lets her ask her question. Mm-hmm. And it's like, what? And then he immediately turns to a doctor and calls her Dr. Skirth, but I thought it was Dr. Skirt. And I'm like, wait a minute, is this guy just some sort of really terrible, awful, misogynistic asshole? Because he's like, here's Dr. Skirt, and I am going to tell you that you can ask anything and not let you ask any questions and not answer anything. It's like, wow, this guy's just kind of a jerk. And well, he is, but he wasn't
not
a
the way
jerk.
that you thought.
He wasn't a jerk for that reason exactly. But he didn't answer her. He didn't let her ask a question either. So it was like, wait a minute. Well, whatever. It's not a big deal. He's the villain. He's got to do his villain speech because that's what villains do, you know.
They do villainy things,
especially talking. Villains do a lot of talking. Some of them need to just shut up.
I thought he had a decent enough motivation. It's just they had him reiterate it like 3 times.
Right,
at
yeah.
various points. It's like, we get it. We get it. You're a futurist. You're
we can make humanity better. It's like, we can make humanity better. It's like, yes, we know.
With goo monsters.
Goo monsters. I'm down for a goo monster. Do you want a goo monster, Ian? Sounds pretty good. I'll take a goo monster.
If it has a weight loss program involved, I'll take one.
If it can kill what ails me, I'm down. All right, I think we've ran out of it.
Ain't nothing. Just a voice in your head.
Yeah, well, it can join all the rest of them. All right, are we ready to move on?
Yes, let's do some Q&A. If you want your question answered here on the BumbleKast, head over to Twitter at BumbleKast. Email us bumblecast@yahoo.com. Leave a comment in any of the YouTube videos or leave a comment, message, whatever you want over on patreon.com/BumbleKast.
All right, let's get into the priority Q&A first, where we got one from our good buddy ScruffyMatt.
Howdy, Scruffy.
Which is your favorite starter Pokemon of any generation, and why is it Charmander? It's not Charmander for me.
See,
Charmander's cool and all, but come on, you gotta have Mudkip. I heard you like Mudkip.
If we want to come down to it, I do honestly have trouble between Charmander and Squirtle, because Squirtle is a better pun and becomes Blastoise, and a turtle with water cannons. I mean, dragons are cool, but turtle with water cannons, come on. Come on.
It's a little more creative. Like Charmander, Charizard, it's kind of like, all right, we get it. He's a dragon. He breathes fire. It's cool. But Squirtle, a turtle with a water cannon, that's a little more creative. That's not quite a mythological thing, like the thing you would expect it to be.
Yeah.
It's kind of neat. It's a little different. So Squirtle's pretty cool. But
I also like Piplup all the way up to Empoleon. I like all 3 stages, because usually, you get some weird in-between stage. It's like, when can I evolve you and get the final thing? Just move on. But I like every stage of that one, and it goes from cute little toddler penguin to giant bladed armed, built-in crown, ice slice ships in half just swimming by Empoleon. That's just neat.
I still like Mudkip. I heard you like Mudkip.
Mudkip's about the only good thing out of those starters. Okay, Torchic is cute. I like Torchic. Everything else is garbage.
I don't even know what game he's from. I just like Mudkip. It's the meme. The meme has gotten to me. But I still like Mudkip. He's cute.
Trico's kind of neat looking. Grovyle is awesome. Sceptile is the stupidest looking thing. Just, The only time it has looked redeemable is in Pokken Fighters, and then it actually looks like an animal. Otherwise, it looks like somebody tried to send a JPEG of a Christmas tree and it just corrupted all the way through. It's hate it.
Yeah, I don't know.
So there you go.
That's it.
Those are the ones that spring to mind for me.
All right. You know more about Pokemon than I do. I just like Mudkip. Anyway. All right. Standard Q&A time. This one comes from Mike D. In the past, when it came to cameo characters and nameless background characters intended to resemble a character from an older Sonic property, or a non-Sonic property altogether, is this usually the decision of the writer, the artist, or some mutual agreement? Have there been any exceptions to what usually goes down? Were there any noteworthy cases of a cameo being turned down or accepted?
Normally, out of all the instances that have happened, it's the artist doing their own thing. Putting in a little fun nod here and there. I feel like one or two times the artist has contacted me directly and said, would you mind? I'm like, no, have fun with it. You're drawing it. Go nuts. The only time I specifically asked for something was in, was it Sonic 174? The Antoine and Bunny wedding issue.
Yeah.
Where I asked Tracy to take the old fan characters that Leah and I used to have and just fit them into the crowd somewhere. That didn't want anything big or prominent. Just put them in somewhere. That would be neat. It turns out he put them in a very prominent position where you can see them very clearly. And I just sent him quick sketches, black and white. He went out of his way to find the actual colors and send them to the colorist, as far as I know. So he went above and beyond. That was super cool of him.
Yeah.
There was also some anniversary issue or something or other where I wanted to put in an old fan character of my best friend Jeffrey's just in the background somewhere, because he's the guy who got me into Sonic and basically set the path for my life.
Uh-huh.
So I just wanted to give him his due, and that one got flagged by editorial, and it was, no, that's too much, and we can't do favors like that, and thrown out. All right, whatever. But beyond that, I can't think of anything that was, directly flagged or tossed out or rejected or what have you. It's usually just one of those fun things. It's like, hey, if you know what to look for, there it is.
Yep.
If you don't, then you have no idea that it's there.
Kind of like Jennifer Hernandez's characters appearing in the background of one of the recent issues. Yeah, it's a fun thing. They're very small. They're just kind of back there hanging out. It's cool. It's cool. I like it. All right. Next one comes from Press Select. Would Ian want to write a Punch-Out comic given the chance? Little Mac and Doc need more exposure.
Yeah, that would be fun.
That would be a lot of fun.
The tricky thing would be creating a full narrative of it and just fighting.
Sure.
Which is one of the hurdles I ran into with ARMS, because it's a punching game built around punching things, and you still want the action to be prominent. You don't want to have a game about punching people and nobody throws a punch. That would just be wrong.
Yeah.
But ARMS also has more of a unit fleshed out, whereas Punch-Out seems more focused on standout characters, but not a lot of the world around it. So if I was given the latitude to expand upon that, that would be pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
If it was just focus on the fights, you'd have to take it as a more cerebral approach to each matchup, I guess, but it's still doable. It would still be fun. I mean, the characters alone have so much personality.
Yes, they do. The Street Fighter comics do a good job of kind of, some of them don't even have any fighting at all.
Mm-hmm,
and they do a good job of working off what the character's quirks are, or personality types, or personality traits, and just kind of going from there.
Now, Street Fighter also has a much larger world surrounding.
That's very
true.
That's very true, especially in recent years where they've added a lot more to the story and stuff. But still, I think something like that could work. It would definitely be interesting to see Little Mac interacting with the other characters, maybe outside of the ring. That could be interesting. Just maybe not even not even in a adversarial way. Maybe he's friends with some of them or one of them or something. Not secretly, but just kind of outside of the ring they're friends, but inside of the ring they're there to win. Things like that. So that could be interesting. All right, next one comes from Spider Sonic 2017. Will the Babylon Rogues have a fight with the Deadly Six in the IDW Sonic comics?
That skates the line of fan idea. But maybe. Can't think of an immediate reason why directly be at odds. And the Rogues are not really a fighting group. They are thieves and racers. But I don't know, maybe if we find a scenario to do such a thing.
Sure. Next question comes from the Iron Jedi. I don't know why a Jedi is made of iron. Seems like it would get a little difficult to move, but what do I know?
The Force, man. It powers the suit.
That's true. That works. I was wondering if we could ever expect the IDW Sonic comics to get a cartoon. Archie had a TV series on Sat AM, and I figured that there was no problem with there being one for IDW. It could have the same team as Many Adventures, and Ian could write for it. Okay, we
need to clarify something. Archie did not have a series in Sat AM.
No, it was the other way around. Yeah. And even then...
Sat AM was its own entity, and Archie, when it got the Sonic license, was allowed to pull from elements of the cartoons that were airing at the time, both Adventures of and Sat AM, as part of the licensing deal. And because of that contract, so many of those elements got grandfathered in much later on, when all the other series like Underground and X and such were off limits once they were done.
Right.
So they really were not connected. It was that those elements existed and Archie got to play with those toys. They were not built with either in mind. There was no synergy between the two. It was, oh, hey, can we use those? Yeah, sure. Okay. And move on. As for an IDW Sonic series, that would be neat. I would love to write for it, of course, but I don't know if Sega would be interested in such a thing. I mean, shoot, there's a lot of things I didn't think would happen that did. So, I mean, give a shout out to Sega itself. Let Sonic Team know. I mean, they are fairly responsive to fan input, or at least I know that they listen.
Sure.
At least on Sega of America's side. And shout out to IDW. I mean, they do sorts of board games and tie-in stuff. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, they're IDW Entertainment. They don't just do comics, so they could do a lot more, too. So I think that would be... Obviously, it would be cool to see, but, I mean, ultimately it comes down to other people who make the decisions. Sadly, not Ian. Ian can't make all these decisions himself. He is but one man.
I would highly doubt Sega of Japan would be interested in the idea, but you never know. You never know.
Sega of Japan's not interested in a lot of things that would be in their best interest, though. Come on. We know that.
They also have final say in everything, so there you go.
I know. All right, and our last question from James M. What do you think of Son Amy?
Oh, Son Amy. I remember him. Back in the forests of Borneo. We were supposed to go in and find the enemy, but the enemy turned out to be him. And it wasn't the other soldiers. No. What we fought over was the love of a woman.
Who is Son Amy?
Her name was Mercedes. Not like the car.
Ian, who is...
I don't remember how it was spelled.
Ian, who is Sonomy? I've never heard of Sonomy. We're talking about something else.
What are we talking about?
With Son Amy, the Sonic and Amy pairing?
Oh, that. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
My bad. I got... Never mind my personal baggage. It's a fine pairing.
I didn't know you were in a war.
Nah, let's forget that.
Okay.
It's a fine pairing. Some people like it better than others. It works depending... I think it depends on which version of the characters you're really trying to put together, but yeah, it's there. It's a thing. If you like it, good for you.
Amy is a strong, independent woman who don't need no man.
Just a hammer.
Everybody.
That you may or may not call Sonic when nobody's looking.
Everybody needs a hammer.
Man, if I had a pocket dimension hammer, that would be awesome.
Yes, I want that.
Probably not good for my road rage, but yeah, otherwise.
Yeah, well, it's fine. Do you have road rage?
No, of course not.
Oh, okay. Just
It
checking.
certainly isn't because of sodomy and Mercedes. Anyway, Kyle, where can they find you when the show is done?
You can find me on Twitter at KyleJCRB. And you can also find me over at kngi.org, where you can find archived episodes of the BumbleKast and many other shows, along with my other show, Nitro Game Injection, which you can also hear streaming live every Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. The most recent episode that just happened and should be posting in a couple short days here publicly for you all is a celebration of the 30th anniversary of Super Mario Bros. 2. So you want to check that out. There's tons of I got tons of remixes from Super Mario Bros. 2 in that episode. So if you're a fan of that game and its music, because it's an awesome game with some awesome music, you'll definitely want to check out that episode. Ian?
You can find me at bumbleking.com or on Twitter at IanFlynnBKC.
You can follow the show at BumbleKast on Twitter or email us at bumblecast@yahoo.com.
You can show your support also by going over to the Bumble store and buying something. There's all sorts of stuff that you can slap the Bumble King or BumbleKast logo on. Head over to shop.spreadshirt.com/BumbleStore.
Buy something, will ya? You can also catch our Patreon exclusive BumbleKast Gaming live streams every Sunday evening at a time that we announce before the show starts. So generally, we'll let you know. If you follow, if you're following our updates on Patreon, you'll hear about it, or Twitter. We announce it before as well. So head on over there, tune in, check it out. As little as $1 a month gets you access to the live chats. Or you can watch them every Friday as they get posted on our YouTube channel.
And before we go, we're going to give a big shout out to everyone who makes this show possible thanks to their patronage over at patreon.com/BumbleKast.
Big
thank you to... What?
I said do it, Ian. Go for it.
Oh. You threw me off my groove.
Great. I ruined it.
Big thank you to Daniel Eric F, Alex B, Zanos, Duas Dizden, Brando, ScruffyMatt, Chris A, John B, Sam Cybercat, Mike B, Samuel P, Jennifer R, David C, Reverend the Light, Lisa M, Dragon Superfan, Digama F, Wow, Aluznok, AE Double, Brody M, H, Justin F, Justin G, Mike Dawson, Adam T, Silly String to Carl, Michael AQ, Leech HK, Chevelle, Don Beeson, Frisk, Taco El Gato Comics, John M, Yasovarovich 9X, James K, Tic Tic Pat Patripodopoulos, Overthinking Films, Adam BT, and
Ron. Did you cut out or did you say Ron?
I said Ron.
Okay. Well,
I absolutely said Ron.
Discord decided it was time to cut out.
Right. Discord, you can't do that.
Right at Ron. Thank you, Discord. A little behind the scenes, we use Discord. Great. Wonderful. Don't use Discord. Don't use it. Don't use.
He won the Bumble raffle. I think he'll let it slide.
Okay, it's all good. And I said Ron too. I said Ron. So
we've said Ron a lot lately.
Run, 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 run.
That's what wraps up for the BumbleKast. We'll see you next week for more BumbleKast gaming, and then BumbleKast episode 78. Shoot, is that going to be end of October or end of November? Doesn't matter. We'll see you then. Bye!
Bye! Yee, 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 yee. Yee.
So, honest to goodness, I totally expected you to respond to the intro with, "We are Kyle."
Yeah, well, unfortunately, I'm not that creative.
You mean you're not that derivative?
Or that. I'm also not very good at improv, as you can probably tell from listening to the last 77 episodes of this show.
And yet you want to do a D&D style campaign.
Oh, yeah. I mean, why not put myself out there and get myself made fun of and be horrible at playing games in front of other people? We do it every week as it is, so... Touche.
Hi there, and thanks for listening to the BumbleKast. If you liked our show, be sure to hit the subscribe button and consider supporting us on Patreon. We have some great rewards as well as big plans on how to make the show even better. Also, rate and review our show on iTunes. It gets more folks listening and helps us out, so we definitely appreciate it. Original music composed by Ken Coda Snyder, used with permission. Find more of his music at bc.s3m.us and find the theme song at noisechanradio.bandcamp.com, available as a pay-what-you-want download.